PCA, Emily is snoozing, or, well, not so much snoozing now, just out of sight on the couch, and Ellie is looking for her favorite toy, which I just threw. It landed on the windowsill. I don't think she quite realizes that. I guess we're going to have a little mission to find it. Anyway, hello, and welcome to, or back to, my channel. I'm Kit, and here we talk about harmful beliefs and ideas promoted by certain influencers, content creators, and so on. And today, we're going to discuss where it all went wrong per the DailyWire. Before we get into it, I would like to note that I don't know any of these people, and these are my thoughts and opinions on the content they put out for public consumption. That being said, thank you for clicking on this video, and I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons. Links to my socials and Patreon are below, along with sources and resources. And now, on to the reason we're all here. Emily has found the toy. She is very smart. Anyway, the Daily Wire is a conservative media company that employs all the people we'll see in this video. Andrew Klavan, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, and Matt Walsh. And I think the other man is the aptly named Jeremy Boring, one of the Daily Wire co-founders. I know most people listen rather than watch my videos, so I just want to let everyone know that they are sitting in a circle, drinking alcohol and smoking cigars. Except Candace, because we all know ladies don't smoke. It's really something to see. Anyway, this will be a quick one. They just said a few things I had some thoughts on. We open with Jeremy saying it's interesting how the meaning of red pill has evolved the past 5 years to be anti-woman, and really? I would say red pill has always been anti-woman, but anyway, this is the question.
What is the role of men and women? What is the role of marriage in a society that has essentially turned its back on the concept of marriage, that is legally encoded anti-man policies
and then
into our legal code?
The definition of marriage. I mean,
abolish the definition.
It's not anti-men. They've abolished difference.
Is it just me, or are conservatives really dramatic? They, whoever they are, abolished difference? What? There are still gendered ways of dressing and existing, which most people still adhere to. I would also love for them to tell us how society has turned its back on marriage and their plan to fix that. Because, to be honest, a lot of people still do get married, albeit later than in years past, but without the economic or religious necessity, marriage isn't as much of a need as it once was. And what are the anti-man policies encoded into law? If you're going to say something like that, you should give at least one example. And they don't. Nor do they link to anything. But I did a Google search, and I think I know why they didn't give examples of these anti-man laws. Male-only selective service, but this group isn't against that. They believe in strict gender roles and women in the military. Well, per these folks, that's not women's role. And, in fact, men should be proud to fight for their country. In some states, even when men declare paternity, child custody defaults to the mother if the parents aren't married. I think they might object to this one, but they also believe women are supposed to be home nurturing the children, so they might not. Sexual assault. The FBI definition was changed in 2013, but it was noted that the new definition doesn't include being forced to penetrate. And again, with the old, well, men always want it, so it's on women to say no, I'm pretty sure they would scoff at the notion that a man could be made to penetrate against his will. Circumcision. Ben is Jewish, they won't be arguing this. Though I would like to note that there are societies and religions that practice circumcision besides Judaism. To be honest though, I would really love to see them discuss this, but they won't. They can't. With the exception of circumcision, this is just their beliefs of gender roles translated into the law, and that is one of their most important beliefs. Men do this and women do that. Anywhoozits, Michael Knowles recently went on the Whatever podcast again, and just so you all know, he really loves it.
The thing with that show that makes it very funny is guys go on and they make fun of these girls who have OnlyFans, who are like 18 and don't know anything. And then the guys completely destroy them, and then the girls look like dummies, and then the clip goes viral. And I felt it would be wrong to do that. I felt I might get a lot of views, but I might also burn in hell for eternity, and I thought about it for a moment, and then I thought, no, okay, I won't do it.
What a stand-up guy. He goes on to say it's not the girls' fault. They have some weird family situation. We live in a culture that teaches them a ton of lies. Even if they went to good schools, they have no education. And just wow. Michael Knowles is 33, married with 2 kids, and he's going to dunk on teenagers having a lack of education. Do they hear themselves? A 30-something can't compare their education, their experience, with that of an 18-year-old. But, thank God, Michael was there to set those wayward girls straight about what's really going on. And if you're wondering, What's really going on is that they're victims of feminism. And you know who else is a victim of feminism?
And the red pill guys are victims of feminism. And the irony about the red pill guys, I sympathize with them a lot of ways. The family courts are totally stacked against dudes. The culture promotes divorce and abolished the definition of marriage and blah, blah, blah. But the red pill guys are feminists. Their sense of men and women is basically
That's
this.
right.
It's just that men and women are interchangeable.
Yes.
And go around, screw around, you owe nothing to women. If it's good for women, it's good for men.
And again, feminism is the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. Feminism is not men and women are interchangeable. Red pillars do not believe in equality. Therefore, red pillars are not feminists. I don't know what he means by men owe women nothing. What does a random man owe me? The only thing we owe each other is a basic courtesy and to not cause harm. And that's because we're all people, not because men owe women some sort of deference. I'm sure you'll all be shocked to learn that Michael does not expand on how red pill men are victims of feminism. Instead, he talks about how he loves individual rights, but the fundamental unit of society is the family. I see. We're victims of feminism because it allows women to earn their own living and thus we don't need to marry anymore. Got it. Matt chimes in saying he agrees with 95% of red pill criticisms, but they've never answered his question. If you're eschewing marriage and children, what's the other option? They talk about despair and how it permeates the right, and then Candace jumps in. Apparently, she totally missed how red pillars are anti-marriage, and
that is a feminist message, not to get married.
Citation needed. And for the curious, Candace doesn't think courts should be involved in marriage at all. It's a church thing, and government is the reason gay marriage is legal, which Candace is very much opposed to. Jeremy jumps in to say that a big part of the red pill that they would all probably agree with is that they diagnose actual problems. It's just the prescription they would disagree with. And then back to Candace, who says that everything feminists and the left do is against the family, and she doesn't understand how you can claim to be conservative if you're against family. And, Michael.
The irony of it is they put themselves out there to be these big, virile, pinnacles of masculinity, but their anthropology is fundamentally, for lack of a better word, gay. Right? Their anthropology is fundamentally sterile, and it's saying, yeah, we shouldn't get married, we shouldn't have kids, we should just have sterile relations with random women. And so it's kind of how the irony that, we end up at the topic that no one's allowed to name anymore that Matt made a movie about. And, people say, well, that's so crazy, we should dial that back. But that's just a consequence of the very same sexual revolution that has said for many decades now that men and women are exactly the same, which comes from feminism, right? So
Horseshoe theory.
Totally, yeah. I mean, it's the logical conclusion of Gloria Steinem is these red pill bros, and they don't even realize it.
Let me know in the comments, was that a whole bunch of nothing, or am I being obtuse? And if the latter, please translate for me because I can't connect the dots between Gloria Steinem and red pill bros. It really is amazing though, the things they tie feminism to. And again, the sexual revolution occurred alongside feminism, not because of it. And also again, feminism is not men and women are the same. You can swap Jane for John and no one would notice. Feminism is, rather than tell Jane what she has to do because she's a woman and what John has to do because he's a man, let them discover themselves what their personalities and talents and interests are. It is not that hard to understand. Back to the group, Matt bemoans the defeatist men in his comments when he talks about marriage. Ben chimes in on the Marxist goal of tearing down society by being anti-marriage, but why are conservatives down on marriage? Apparently, conservatives think leftists have wrested control of everything. Education, marriage, church, thus the despair. Ben says conservatives have to get control back, but there is a question.
The big debate that's happening right now on the right is, can we do that with these institutions or do you burn them to the ground? And it differs institution by institution, right? I think most of us in this room would say, like, the university system, go ahead and burn it to the ground. Or the legacy media, go ahead and burn it to the ground. But when it comes to the institution of marriage, you can't burn it down. That's not something you can burn down.
Well, it's not an institution invented by man, for one thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so you actually have
you can burn it, but you burn civilization with it.
Exactly. And so I think that what's happened is a broad category error that the right has made. In being anti-institutionalist broadly, you're starting to see the most right-wing edges of the right wing say, well, that includes all institutions.
So conservatives shot themselves in the foot by being too anti-institution? This is where the video ended, but that was it? Based on how much they talked about it, the problem is marriage, or rather a lack of, and they plan to solve the problem by taking back control of marriage? What would that look like, and how would that inspire more people to marry? I should probably note they used Pearl for the thumbnail and mentioned her a few times in the video, and she's since challenged them to debate. Based on Pearl's past debates, I'm not too sure that's a good idea for her, but if all else fails, she can just accuse them of lying to men. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.